What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larsen, and you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
Hey guys, super excited for this episode here. I've got somewhat of a treat here. This is a little bit different. One of my buddies, Ben Willson, totally the man, been friends forever with him. Actually made my first dollar online with him while I was in college. He's the man. Anyway, he and I chat all the time, super good friends, and he had a question about content creation strategies and how to go about doing it in a way where it doesn't suck up your entire life. And so what I wanted to do is drop in a Vox conversation that we had about that very topic. So what I'm going to do is I have the Voxers right here, and I'm just going to drop them in right here so you guys can hear them. It is a little bit long, but I think the strategies that I say in here should connect a lot of dots for people and help people understand more about how we can produce so much content in such a little amount of time. This is literally how I am doing it. There's more of this that I'm implementing personally as well, my own processes. And honestly, when you start looking at how all the gurus actually create so much stuff, most of them are doing variations of this, if not this exact same thing. So let me go ahead and go over to the episode here, and please let me know if you enjoyed this, and give a shout out to Ben Willson for asking the question and sucking this information out of me, because sometimes I don't realize some of the things I'm doing. I'm just doing them. You know what I mean? So this was helpful.
What am I doing? How should I say this? I spent 8 months creating my first info product before I ever sold any of it. You know what I mean? 8 months. And it sucked. And I thought I was doing it the right way, but it's the total wrong way. Because I still had not hung around Russell to realize what he actually was doing. And now, though, like, I know exactly how he does it, which is awesome. And the way he pumps out so many freaking products, because he has a hold. I mean, granted, he's got a graphics guy, he's got a video guy, he's got a Facebook guy, he's got this, whatever, but he's still the main creative. He's still the main innovator of products there. What I've noticed watching him is that, so I spent 8 months creating that first product, and no one bought it for months after it was done. And instead, and this is like the scariest thing on the planet, but it is, how should I say this? Dude, he sells stuff before he ever starts creating it. And it's the way he rolls it out, and he pre-frames it with everybody so they know that it's not ready. And he says, hey, look, like 2 weeks from the time that it starts, and I'm sure that, I've talked about this in my podcast before, so you're probably like, yeah, but like that's how, though. Hey, it starts in 2 weeks. Part of the early bird pricing is we're going to give a little price drop as a thank you. It's $9.97 to join. Then 1 week out. Hey, it's 1 week away. $9.97 to join, early bird pricing. Hey, then on the actual day, hey, guess what? It's actually, it opened the day, but we're still extending the early bird pricing due. Right. And then a week after you've opened the cart. Hey, good news! You guys don't have to wait like everyone else did. You can get started right now for just $9.97. Same thing 2 weeks in. You don't need to start. There's already 2 modules that are already done in there for you. But really, what you're doing is, so that's like the surface level that everybody sees. But what you're actually doing, and this is how I built Secrets Masterclass. What you're actually doing is you put an ask campaign onto every single module. So at least what the models are going to be, but they're not created yet. And so on every single module, you have an ask campaign. So like, let's say the first module was about how to drive Facebook ads, and module number 2 is about how to talk to people on the phone. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. Let's say module number 3 is about whatever. You would go and you would say, okay, I'm so excited for this module with you guys. I'm so excited for this module with you guys. Module number 1 is going to be all about Facebook ads, just so I make sure I've got the content correctly addressing your needs. what is your number one question or challenge about Facebook ads right now? And when they go through and they answer it, they're giving you the freaking content that they're asking you to create. It's funny because I usually go way past what they were expecting, way overboard. I have totally done that on this MLM product thing, 100%. You know what I mean? Because I'm building stuff that they didn't even know existed, which is fine because I'm going to use it in other areas. But like, I won't probably sell it like this in the future. You know, like. Anyway, so like, so that's one way. As far as rolling out courses, and you probably, I mean, you know that, I'm sure. Here's another way. I'm just going off the top of my head. Like, here's several ways of repurposing content like an absolute beast. So, like, we'll have. Do you know the difference between? This is also one of the major keys. It's the difference between an opportunity switch versus an opportunity stack. I'm sure I know you've read Expert Secrets, but when it's an opportunity stack, those are way easier than opportunity switches. When it's an opportunity stack and we're just doing like one-off sales when they're like, hey, we should sell this. But it's not like a continuity, it's not like easily continuity-based thing, like funnel immersion. Do you remember that? I don't know if you ever saw that product, but funnel immersion was like the back archives of all the trainings he had done for his inner circle for like $300. It was amazing. And then on day 2, it was $400 for the same content. On the 3rd day, it was $500 for the exact same content, because on the 4th day it closed out and you still can't buy it. If you go to funnelimmersion.com, you still can't buy it. But what it did is it let us create a product. It let us create a product and get paid for the creation of the product. Okay, he doesn't like to create content without getting paid for it. So he always sells it first, and then he goes out and he creates the content second. So it's the same kind of thing. So like, all he did is he had all these pre-created things, and all I did is I aggregated them and we sold it. It made $300,000 in like 3 days. It was ridiculous. And we closed it out. But now what we know is that offer is awesome. So it becomes a very easy upsell in other funnels. So like, I can't remember which funnel it's a part of right now, but like, you can't buy it out on the open web, which is awesome because it lets us say in the pitch now on the first OTO, hey, this is literally not available on the internet. You want the back archives of X, Y, and Z, it's $300. And we know it converts well because it sold so well. So he'll take these one-off products and then make them the upsells inside other funnels where it makes sense to have that thing. And I'm trying to think what other like ninja strategies or content tips. The repurposing thing, that is totally, I'm sure that's kind of I'm sure you've done that before too. That's why I like Willson so freaking much. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just create one podcast episode and it blasts all over the place on YouTube and video platforms and all social media, tons of social medias and the blog, and like, it just gets repurposed like a beast. It's kind of cool because if you can get your own content strategy down, it lets you feel to the rest of the world like you're like 100 guys when you're just like 1 or 2. Here's another cool strategy that I'm actually going to start implementing it, especially as I go solo. Like, dude, I know you've noticed, like, content creation takes for freaking ever, and it's a huge pain in the butt. And so I'm going to start doing what I've seen a lot of other inner circle people do. And actually, I've already been doing it to a smaller degree. And that is, a lot of these guys will go batch their content in a serious way. Sorry, dude, I'm yawning like crazy. I got to go to sleep soon. We're going to bed at like 2 a.m. I need to go to bed now. But anyway, so what they'll do is this. They will find themselves a graphics guy, and like a general social media manager person. Okay, and what they do is, this is what John Lee Dumas does, JLD, Entrepreneur on Fire. I got to listen to him, got to talk with him, he's a cool guy. They will schedule all of their interviews for their podcasts, or all of their content creation, or every video they're going to shoot for that for the next while, 3 months even. And his team gets it transcribed, takes a picture from it to turn it into a meme. They turn it into a podcast. They turn it into a blog post, into an Instagram thing. They repurpose it into every platform that you can even conceive in like a week's time. So first of all, it gets passed to this person, and they create a meme out of it, and then they hand off to the next person. And they get the next one, then they create a meme out of that one. They hand off to the next person. This next person, what they do is it's these ridiculous content generating machines that they put together. And so they don't have to spend all their time creating all their stuff. They spend several days at the beginning of each month. Like John Lee Dumas, I know he does, he told us that he does all of his interviews the first 2 days of every month. And so they'll only be like 1 hour interviews, but they'll be back to back to back to back. He's like, they're killer days. Like they're good days, but they're killer. He's like, I'm totally rocked by the end of it. But then I just hand it all off to my team. They do the editing, they put it all together, and then they drip it out, every single day for the next, ever. I mean, he podcasts literally every day. That's like JLD's thing. But that's how he does it. Stu McLaren for his membership sites. Dude, that dude makes $6 to $7 million a year on membership sites that he only actually spends 2 weeks a year creating. Most people don't know that. Isn't that crazy? So what he does is his membership sites are heavily based on interviewing experts. And each month they get a new expert interview, they get a blog post, they get like a behind the scenes thing, they get a lot of cool stuff. And the person's paying like $27 a month or something like that. And it could be about recipes, whatever. What he does is he'll fly in 12 different experts and he interviews them all in a single day. And then he creates all the content and all the modules, all the courses, everything over the next like week or two. And then it's stripped out. So it's evergreen for each person that comes in, and he's set for literally a full freaking year. And it's behind the scenes of all these guys doing all their content and course generating that has been it really opened my eyes to think through. Like, so I'm gonna start doing that because I got a business to freaking run, man. But I gotta talk to my audience. I try and podcast at least twice a week. That's what I want to do though. Like, dude, publishing has changed my life for that one. So I can't not publish. Not publishing feels like I'm taking away future thousands and thousands of dollars per day from myself. Because if I publish and I just make a following out of it, like, I think publishing is as powerful of a skill as like funnel building. Because if you can get publishing down, dude, some of the worst YouTubers out there have no idea what they're doing at all, but they have these gigantic followings. They don't know how to build funnels. They have no idea how to monetize anything, but they get these massive, massive followings really, really quickly because they figured out how to publish and be an attractive character and tell stories, which is mostly what it is. It's just storytelling. And anyway, that's seriously what it is, though. And so that's what I've learned. Here's another cool little tidbit. When these guys go and create courses, so they'll go usually whatever's easiest to create the actual content. That's the media or the medium that they'll go for. So like, I do podcasting because it's really freaking easy for me to repurpose that stuff, and Libsyn turns it into a video for me as it's getting published, which is awesome. So I don't have to go and make a video. So like Russell will film an entire module or even an entire course in a single setting sometimes, he's got so much backlog content that he doesn't totally need to do that anymore. So I'll just take and pick and grab different things and repurpose from other courses and take, you know what I mean? Like that, I do that all the time. That's what Secrets Masterclass is. And then we filmed a single intro video for each module in just a single shot. But what these guys will do though, for their courses, they call it thud factor. Okay, thud factor is like if you were to take a book and drop it on a table from like a foot high, like what kind of thud does it get? So this is an actual thing called thud factor. I think this comes from like Dan Kennedy or something like that. But what they do is when they go and they create these courses, they put things together. It's the same reason. Anyway, let me tell the thing and I'll tell you how I've been doing it. Because I totally have been, which is awesome. But what they'll do is they'll go film the whole course. They'll take that, they'll get it transcribed and turn it into a workbook or a newsletter or transcriptions. They'll take the videos, they'll put it into a members area, but then they'll also take the videos and they'll put it into 12 thumb drives. It can easily fit on one thumb drive, but that takes away thud factor, okay? In the workbook, it would make fiscal sense to print double-sided. They don't. They print single-sided because it's thicker and you have more thud factor. So when you get these box sets from these people, you open it up, and we all consume content in different ways. I never read blogs. I'm shocked when people read mine, but I know it's good to have, so I do it, right? Because there are people that read it. And like someone will reach out and be like, hey, I was reading your blog, and I was like, well, I forgot I have one. It's all as part of the system I put up. This sounds awesome, X, Y, and Z, but like they've never heard my podcast. They're just reading transcriptions from it. Anyways, fascinating stuff. So like Russell has all these box sets all over his bookshelves, and what they are is they're swipe files to him. Meaning it's some guy who had awesome thud factor. So they went out and it's this right, there's an actual iPad that has the course preloaded on it, or you could listen to it on your computer, and there's 12 thumb drives with all the courses spread throughout there. Or if you want, there's a notepad where all of it has been transcribed, and you get a huge, massive 3-ring binder. And honestly, it could have fit on a 2-inch 3-ring binder, but it looks so much better if it's a 4 to 6-inch 3-ring binder. You know what I mean? And so you get this box that's huge, because what they're trying to create inside the person's mind is finality. If there's like finality in the brain, right, that's like gives the warm fuzzies to a buyer that they have found the solution, that they've arrived, they've come home. There's no more reason to look anymore because I found home. And so that's how they're doing it. So that's just a whole bunch of different content generating strategies, man. Like when it's all said and done, it's all about batching it. And especially if you're like regularly publishing, it's about batching it. If you're course creating, it's usually about selling it first so you know it actually sells, and then creating one module at a time with them. So that first group that comes in with you is creating the content with you, so that everyone who follows up afterward and is buying afterwards, you know that it's awesome content because it was basically user created. They just don't know that. Anyway, that's pretty much it though. And then they look for ways to duplicate themselves. So live Q&A calls are amazing. Group Q&A, not one-on-one. One-on-one Q&A calls should be sold up for a higher ticket price, higher up on the value ladder. The group coaching Q&A calls are awesome because you can record those, get them transcribed. You could give the audio. You could turn it into a video and make a YouTube series out of it. You could take that and get it transcribed and put it into a monthly newsletter with, hey, this is this group's. Dude, tons of people do that kind of stuff. And I used to think it was kind of a joke, honestly, but like, it is ridiculous how powerful it is. And like, there's tons of people who won't ever get on the Q&A calls, but they will listen to every single replay. You know what I mean? Because that's how they consume content. I don't ever read blogs. I watch YouTube videos and I listen to podcasts. That's how I consume content. I don't ever answer my phone. And that's, I mean, like, it's all about this concept that Russell talked about. This is a long Vox, man. Sorry about this. I hope this is okay. But it all revolves around a concept called conversation domination. I can't remember who first said that, but we want to dominate every single channel, dominate every single conversation. Gary Vee taught that, back in like the 1950s, there were like 3 different channels, right? Like NBC, ABC, and whatever, right? There weren't that many. And the reason Tony Robbins is because back when there's only like 3 channels on the TV, he had ads on every single one of them. That's like how he blew up, right? I mean, that's why he's so big. He dominated. I know it wasn't the 50s, but like 60s or 70s or something like that. Like, that's why he is Tony Robbins, because he dominated those channels. And so Gary Vee teaches that the phone is like the TV of the 70s. There's only 3 or 4 channels. You got YouTube, there's Facebook, Periscope, if anyone gets on anymore, Instagram. Like, those are the channels. And so it's all about conversation domination. So you make sure that you are auto-publishing to every single one of those platforms as frequently as you can, because you'll dominate conversation. There's no other room for someone to even think about something else, because you are literally dominating all conversation inside of it. So that's why Russell publishes so freaking much. It's way more than a single person or follower or lover of ClickFunnels could ever consume, and it's actually on purpose. Anyway, I'm probably preaching to the choir on a lot of stuff. I love this topic because it's a huge deal. Like, it's a big deal, and if it blows my freaking mind when someone does not take publishing seriously, because if they actually want to have a successful business, especially in like the social media driven world, and they're not publishing, like, they're kidding themselves. They're told it's I kind of scoff at it, honestly. It's like, okay, like, cool, this is just a wish for you then. It's not a real thing yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to, that's the kind of attitude I have towards people when they're like, well, I don't know that I want to be publishing. It's like, well, get ready to not make money then. Like, you have to. And, anyway, it doesn't have to be crazy either. A lot of those are extreme ways. The way I do it is I literally batch. I'll usually record 3 episodes at a time of my podcast, of each one. I go send it, I get it all transcribed in one shot, and then I send it over to somebody, and she turns it into a blog post. And she uses this cool tool called SEO Presser, which mimics Google's algorithm, so she can see how my blog will rank before we actually publish it, which is kind of cool. It totally works too. Like, that's why if you Google ClickFunnels, like, my stuff starts popping up all over the place. It's totally worked, which is good. That's what I was going for. And then I give her a schedule to release it all on. That's kind of it. But because of Willson and how she's pushing it out, it blasts to like 18 channels or something. So anyway, those are some long freaking boxes, man. But anyway, hopefully I helped.
Dude, Steven, holy crap, you just pieced it together. Like, you just straight pieced it together. So I've heard a lot of the stuff before, but like in snippets and like in little bits and everything like that. What you just packaged in those 2 boxes, that was mind-blowing. Like, I feel like I owe you lots of money for those 2 boxes, because that was nuts. I legitimately, I think I'm going to transcribe what you've just said. And, dude, straight up, you could easily just make that a podcast. I wouldn't even change it. Dude, thank you for seriously taking the time to answer that question. That was like literally what I was looking for, and to the depth that I needed it, because like I said, there's a lot of the information that it's been said before, but you connected the dots to a lot of things as to how you repurpose the content, and then how you go about creating the content and then repurposing it. And dude, you're a freaking rock star. That was a lot. I literally have to listen to them again.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.